Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all so much for joining in. So, in today's topic, we'll be talking about how you can build your own groceries and your grocery list if you have diabetes. So, I understand that is something which a lot of people, find challenging. So, today we are bringing to you all of the things which you need to keep in mind while you are building a grocery list, right? So, and today for that, we have with us health coach Upasana Ghosh, who's going to be taking you through the topic. Thank you so much, Upasana, for joining us today and being here with us, taking time out of your day. So Upasana is a health coach here at Sugarfit, right? She is a diabetes specialist and she is also a dietitian, and she has so many users who have reverse diabetes. And if you have any questions you want to ask her on the topic or anything on diabetes, you can definitely leave your questions in the chat and we will answer it for you at the end of the session. So Upasana, over to you. You can go ahead and start sharing the screen.
Thank you so much, Shilpa, for your warm introduction. And I also, would like to welcome, all the users here, who have basically attended today's session. So, without any delay, I would start the session today. I hope the screen is visible to all.
Yes, Upasana, we can see your screen.
Great. And so a warm, welcome to all of you who have participated in today's session. So today I'll be discussing about the magic of healthy grocery. So now you might be thinking that, you have basically heard about healthy food or healthy meal plate, but what is healthy grocery? So healthy grocery is basically the first step to start a healthy living life. So the thing is grocery shopping can, can be a very difficult task, even for the one who are most organized in their work. Tempting unhealthy foods, seem to lurk in every aisle, threatening to offset your, healthy living or, the health goals that you generally set for yourself. So a grocery list is a handy tool that can help you navigate the store with ease and can also help you stick to your healthy eating plan on a day-to-day basis. A well-thought grocery list is not only a memory aid, but it can also keep you on track and can also help you to minimize your impulsive buying of that packet of chips or chocolates or a tub of ice cream. I will also, let you know that how you can actually plan your grocery, the weekly grocery, list or the monthly, grocery list for this session. So that it will also set you up for the success even when you are tight on your schedule, to your office, which will also help you keep nutritious food on hand to eat all your week. In fact, there are several studies which have shown that using a list while grocery shopping can actually help to lead a healthier food choices and which can eventually help you to maintain a proper weight as well as your BMI. So it's having an empty fridge or a pantry at your home can always lead you to rely on the fast food, or we can just open the food delivery app and we can just order anything which is, easy to deliver or easy to eat when we are extremely hungry, when we come back home from our long day hectic work. So if we do make a grocery list and we do shop food items or buy food items which are, healthier in nature, and we can always stock them in the kitchen, then it will be easier for us also to have a better choice while we are hungry and we are extremely tight on our time. Studies have also shown that people who plan their meals in advance have a healthier overall diet and lower body weight, which eventually help them to avoid the lifestyle and the metabolic disorders as well. Plus, those who plan their meals ahead of time always tend to cook more meals at home. And it's a practice that have been linked to better diet quality and lower levels of body fat percentage. An excellent way to start planning your meal is to create a recipe book or a board or a food journal. You might have heard the word food journal from, like the dietitians or nutritionists, or like your like basically health coaches as well. So having a food journal or a recipe board where you can always detail the meals you would like to eat, like for the week or month, which also includes your breakfasts, your lunches, your dinners, including your snacks, will actually help you a lot to buy, like healthy food as well. The most important thing is to be very, like realistic while you do plan your grocery, like your week wise grocery or your month wise grocery as per your convenience. So when you are creating a healthy grocery list, it's important to be realistic about the food that you will actually consume or you can cook. And the thing is, like, it's very important to think that what kind of food you can cook, even though like you might have like a very hectic work schedule, like so that you're not missing on your meals and you do have healthy food choices at your home as well. Although you may want to try like lot of different kind of foods when you are first beginning a more nutritious way of eating, so always try to choose just a few healthy foods each day. Learn about your body, learn, like which food or like which particular food item is actually having a positive effect on your body and is actually helping you to, like, like basically improve your overall health and your energy levels as well. Now, like one of the most important thing that you can consider while planning your grocery list is like try to organize your list into sections. Like for example, there are different kinds of food categories, right? So what you can do is you can just type a list of these sections and you can just focus on the items you have planned, like rather than like getting distracted by the endless, like like unhealthy foods that you can generally see in the grocery stores. To start, just divide your list into sections based on food items. Like for example, the daily vegetables, okay, like that you can cook, or the seasonal fruits, or the proteins, or the carbohydrates, the healthy fats, the dairy or the non-dairy products which actually suit your gut health and you would like to try on a day-to-day basis as well. The condiments, that is the spices that you generally include to cook a particular meal, or any kind of beverages which is actually good for your health and not the one which has a high amount of sugar and which is actually not good for your gut health as well. So just make sure that like whenever you are like taking that like basically like 1 hour of time in a week to plan your grocery, just make sure to just like plan out or like like list out the simpler like vegetables, the seasonal vegetables, the local like vegetables or fruits or grains that are generally available and like which will actually have a positive effect in your health. The other thing is about the plate method. So before you do plan a list, like basically a grocery list, it's very important for you to understand that in what manner you like basically need to eat your lunch or dinner or breakfast. So generally this is called a plate method, and a plate method is always the easiest way to create your healthy meals. It actually, because it helps to manage your blood sugar levels, it also helps to provide all the healthy nutrients on a day-to-day basis in a proper amount and combination. And you do not have to calculate or weigh like before eating if you do always maintain a proper plate method, right? So like you have like the thing is like you might have heard from your health coach or any like health practitioners that it's very important to start your meal with something which is rich in fiber, and then you go ahead with the protein sources. For example, it can be pulses, legumes, or eggs, or it can be chicken, fish, or it can be dairy products, and then you end your meal with the carbohydrate, like basically like the whole wheat products or rice, any kind of rice. It can be like black rice, red rice, white rice. It can be millets as well. So if you see and if you can understand, or what I would suggest you, that if you all can just imagine, like your plate, like 50% of your plate should be covered with vegetables. It can be in the salad form as well as in the cooked form. So the most abundant like food items that should be available in your like kitchen or pantry or like refrigerator is different kind of seasonal vegetables. Then comes the protein sources. It can be like milk and milk products, it can be legumes, it can be pulses, it can be sprouts. You can make sprouts at home as well. And it can also be like different types of like whole wheat, or like whole grains, which has a higher amount of fiber, also protein and minerals, right? So just make sure and understand that what is important and how you should be planning to eat your lunches and your dinners and your breakfast. And in that manner, like whichever item if like will be required for you in a larger amount, you can buy that, like make a list of it, like before going for shopping, like your grocery shopping, so that you're not wasting on your money as well. The thing is, like you might be thinking that why I was like basically like focusing on the seasonal vegetables and fruits, because like seasonal produce is like generally like harvested at its peak ripeness, offering high levels of nutrients, antioxidants for your better health. Also, these fruits and vegetables develop their full flavor potential, and they also provide a very delicious and satisfying eating experience. The most important thing is opting for a local seasonal produce also helps to reduce the carbon emissions which is associated with long distance transportation, supporting sustainable farming practices, and it also helps to protect the environment. And the best part is seasonal produce always tend to be like more affordable due to its abundance, because the demand is more and the production is also more during the season. And it also reduces need for preservation and transportation, because these like vegetables or the fruits which are produced in a particular season, they are adapted to the natural environment, and you do not have to like make an effort to preserve them, right? The other part is always try to like list down the low glycemic food options, like while you are planning like grocery list, like for the weekly purpose or for the monthly purpose. Okay, so now like what do I mean by low glycemic index? It is basically like the glycemic index generally ranks food on a scale of 0 to 100. So, like following a low glycemic index diet is an eating pattern which is based on how the food actually affects your glucose level, that is the blood sugar level. Okay. And now this glycemic index also is like generally categorized into low and middle and high GI value. So the low GI value, that is the low glycemic index value, generally varies from 1 to 55. For example, the green vegetables like fruits, like most of the fruits, raw carrots, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils. The medium glycemic index, like foods generally vary from like 56 to 69, they have this number. And if you can just check the glycemic index of this food, then you will know that like which food will have a minimum effect on the glucose spike, and which like food will basically have a larger effect on the glucose spike. And then you can absolutely plan a healthy grocery week wise or month wise. So, like few example of the medium GI foods are sweet corns, bananas, raw pineapple, raisins, cherries, oat breakfast cereal, and multigrain, the whole wheat bread or rye bread, and millets as well. The high glycemic index generally varies from 70 to above, that is 100. So it generally consists of like white rice, white bread, potatoes, which doesn't have a lot of fiber in it, and it has a very high impact on the glucose level, because after you do consume these foods, the high glycemic index foods, the glucose formed after the digestion and metabolism, it quickly gets released into the bloodstream, spiking up your blood glucose level after consumption of that particular meal. So it's always better to, I mean, like follow a low glycemic index or like basically a medium glycemic index. I mean, like diet on a day-to-day basis. Like if you want to maintain a healthy lifestyle and you want to avoid all the lifestyle and metabolic disorders, what you can do is you can always, I mean, like talk with your health coach and can always ask or like just list out some food items which generally fall on the low glycemic index list or the medium glycemic index list, and then can plan your weekly grocery or the I mean, like your monthly like grocery list, like which will also help you to always make better choices. There are like many studies, and the thing is like researchers have also noted that the benefit of diet may be linked to the nutrient rich foods and high fiber foods. So the overall nutritional quality of food may be more important than the GI value of each food item as well. Now coming to the like very important I mean like part of your grocery list items is that the food levels or the nutritional levels that we generally see in each and every packaged items, right? So nutritional I mean like food levels always provide details on the calories or the macronutrients and the vitamin, which also help you to make informed choices for better nutrition. You can always check the ingredient list, which will also help you to identify the allergens if you are allergic to dairy or peanuts or soya. If you know, and if you always, I mean, like read the levels of the food, of the packaged food, like before buying those foods from the market, trust me, it will actually help you a lot to make a better food choice on a day-to-day basis. Now coming to the serving size is that, like, for example, we are buying a packet of pasta and it is written that the packet consists of 250 grams of pasta. So sometimes, like maximum times, like people do get confused with the serving size. So it's very important to know about the serving size and the portion sizes that are there, right? So if you do see at the back of the packaged food, you can see that maybe the total amount is 250, but the serving size, like for a single person, like maybe is 75 grams or, I mean like 100 grams. But as we are not aware of it, we always tend to eat the, I mean like the whole packet, thinking that that is like only serving for a single person. So it's very important to understand and read and explore the ingredient list or the food levels before buying a packaged food. You can also check the allergens, as I said, which can also allow you to avoid potential triggers for adverse effect. And also there are certain health claims that are generally there, I mean like nowadays as well. It's called the low fat or organic, but it's very important then also to check the ingredient list, just to know, and always try to evaluate the claims when a particular company or a particular food product is making in their package, that whether this is low fat or organic or low in sugar or low in carbohydrate as well. Okay. And the thing is like there are certain, I mean like there are like several studies which also says that food levels always reduce consumer intake of calories by 6.6%, fat by 10.6%, and other unhealthy food options by 13%. Labels also increase vegetable consumption by 13.5%, because if you know and if you read the labels and if you understand that what is there in the ingredient list, then automatically you will not eat a particular product which will, like have a negative effect in your health. Then you will become more self-conscious. You will become, you will be like choosing the food items more consciously on a day-to-day basis. Like generally, what happens when we are hungry in the evening, or for example, while we are watching a movie, we generally, grab onto a packet of chips, or we grab onto a packet of food which is like ready to cook or ready to eat, but we do not check the ingredient list, right? So I would request all of you that whenever you are getting a time, just try to explore and read and try to understand what is there and what is good for your health. And like also, like most products have nutritional information on the level, as I said. So some products also have color coding on the front, which tells you if the food has high or medium or low. Like if the color coding is red, which means high, amber, which is like generally means medium, and green, which is low, amount of fat or saturated fats or sugars and salt. The more green salty level are there, that means the food is comparatively, like healthy to the ones which have like a higher amount of red levels or the amber levels. So ingredients, and the thing is like one thing like which can always help you to understand that whether that particular food items is, like good for you or not, is that the ingredient list. So just remember that ingredient lists are always listed in order of their weight, beginning with the ingredient that weighs the most and ending with the ingredient that weighs the least. So next time when you go to a shop and buy a packet of biscuit which claims to be, like gluten free or healthy, just check on the ingredient list and try to understand that, like what is there at like a higher amount in that particular like biscuit or cookies and what is not, and you will get your answer. So I would like to give, like few examples, like few, like healthy swaps, like which like you can always make on a day-to-day basis, like to make your rotis or in replacement of the white rice. If you are like basically like in a weight loss journey, or if you are like suffering for diabetes or like hypertension or hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism or any kind of lifestyle or metabolic disorders, so you can always like swap the refined flour with, like anything which is like whole grain flour or millets, like due to the high fiber content and the vitamins and mineral content. You can always swap the namkeens or chips like with nuts, seeds or sprouts, right? You can always swap the fruit juices with some like fresh fruits which are available in the market. You can always like swap the ice creams with Greek yogurt, or you can take curd with some nuts and can some, like chop some like berries on it and can have it as well. Always try to avoid the sauces as well, which are generally, like we do get it in the market because they like does have a high amount of sodium content in it. So what you can do is you can always swap those with hummus or tahini. You can always swap the refined vegetable oil with olive oil or mustard oil or rice bran oil. You can always swap jams or marmalades with nut butters, because nut butters like does have like good fats in it as well, omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids. So they will actually help you and like will have like a better impact in your health, like rather than having jams and marmalades which are just loaded with sugars and nothing else. You can always just swap the white bread with the whole grain bread or sourdough bread. Sourdough bread are generally not easily available in India, but yes, you can always swap it with, like the whole grain breads as well. And last but not the least, always try to avoid the packaged breakfast cereals, which always claim themselves to be healthy, but actually they are not. Again, just go to any shop, just take a packet of any kind of breakfast cereals which are ready to eat. Just check the ingredient list and the nutritional profile, and like you will absolutely get the answer. This is how you can actually make your, like basically you can actually make the grocery list. It's like, for example, as I said, that you can just categorize each and every food items, right? According to the carbohydrate intake, the protein intake, or the vegetables and fruits intake, okay? And like us, like basically a, like a separate section for the snacks intake as well, because if you think that you are more prone to have some, I mean, like you are like more prone to eat some snacks in between your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or for example, you do have that eagerness, or you do feel hungry in between your lunch and dinner, like quite quickly, you can absolutely like stock up your kitchen or pantry with some healthy snacking options rather than just grabbing a packet of chips. So for example, as I said, you can just, like keep a permanent list of the grocery that, like, no matter what, on a like weekly basis or like monthly basis, like these food items will always be there in my kitchen or my pantry or in my refrigerator. So in that basis, you will have a proper guide which will always help you to make a better choice. Thank you so much for, like attending this session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Upasana. I think it was such a wonderful presentation. We covered a lot of, things about what you should keep in mind while, shopping for groceries and how to make a list and everything. So thank you for that. So I think now we can take a couple of questions, right? So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead, leave your questions in the comments and we'll answer them, right? So there are a couple of questions already in the chat, so I'll just take them up for you. So
Sure.
one is basically one person is asking, when do I take the medications for diabetes? Should it be before or after meals?
Okay, so the thing is, like, this completely depends upon, like what is your sugar level and how your doctor has actually prescribed the dosage of the medication. So for this, I would suggest you that always do maintain the, like the prescription that has been prescribed by the doctor, that whether you need to take it before a meal or after a meal. Because
Okay.
each and every medication has a different effect on your blood glucose level.
Got it. Thank you, Pasana. So there's another question by Miss Vandana. So she's asking, is there any chart where we can see glycemic index of all the foods?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like there are, like different kind of charts which are actually, like basically like available in the Google as well from like, like authentic sites. Or else what you can do is you can just discuss with your, like dietitian or like with your, like health coach, and like they will be able to like guide you a proper chart in terms of the low glycemic index food, or like, like the medium glycemic index food and the high glycemic index food.
Okay, got it. So there's another question, Upasana. So this is by Mr. Karuna Kumar. So he's just mentioned his HbA1c that it is 10 and fasting sugar is 240. So he's asking for any guidance that you can give him, like any sort of advice that will help bring down his sugars and HbA1c.
Okay, so for this, like, firstly, I would again, like suggest you to consult with your doctor about the medication, and about the diet. If you are already consulting with your, like health coach, then, like that is great. Otherwise, there are few tips, like which you can always maintain in your, like day-to-day basis is, like, firstly, try to be active, like physically active. It's very important, okay? Because like whenever you are doing exercise and you are like physically active, it actually helps to manage the fluctuations of your glucose level. Second is, always try to, like brisk walk for 10 to 15 minutes after your three major meals. It helps to like basically like keep like control on the blood glucose level after your meal. Third is, always, like eat your food in a proper manner. Like there is a term, like, like which is generally called like meal sequencing, is like how you eat your food. Like for example, like when we are actually cooking a particular dish, okay, there are, like steps, right? Like to cook a particular meal, if we are not following the steps and we are just doing anything that we want, and like putting all these spices together at one go, like the dish will not be tasty and proper, right? In the similar manner, Like whenever we eat our breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's very important for us to understand the meal sequencing. Like start your meal with like vegetables, and then you have your protein and your carbohydrate source, and try to avoid all the refined food items that are available in the market.
Got it. Thank you, Pasna. So another question by Mr. Harish is, what is steel cut oats?
Okay, so like basically it is like it generally depends upon the processing method, right? So the thing is like steel cuts oat are generally processed in the factories, and they are being, I mean like basically like the machinery that is being like used to cut those oats are like made of pure steel. So they're like generally called steel cut oats, and they are like extremely high in fiber content as well.
Got it. Thank you, Pasna. So there's another question. Okay, so the question is that, can you suggest some diabetic, excuse me, can you suggest some diabetic friendly beverages that I can include in my grocery list to stay hydrated and avoid the sugary drinks?
Absolutely, you can try different kind of, I mean, like summer detox drinks. For example, you can just take like 1 liter of water. You can add 1 or 2 tablespoons of chia seed in it, some mint leaves and cucumbers, and just keep it in the refrigerator for like 1 to 2 hours. And after that, you can like basically like consume that drink. You can also, I mean, like squeeze some lemon as well in it, like for that tangy taste as well. Or if you want, you can also I mean like add some chopped, like watermelons in it as well for that sweet taste as well. So all this summer detox drink, you can actually like make it at home and can keep it and can always replace it with I mean, like always replace it like with the sugar drinks that are actually available in the market.
Got it. So, Upasana, there's another question. I think we already covered a bit of this, but they're asking, what are some things that you should consider when you are selecting the carbohydrates, when you're making a, diabetes-friendly grocery list?
Okay. So firstly, the most important thing is like you should consider that it should not be refined. Like whenever we see like any grain, okay, like which is refined, that means the fiber content is like very low, or the fiber is not at all present in that particular grain. So just make sure you're always opting for like whole grains. For example, like like any kind of millets that are available in the local store. You can also go for like pseudo cereals, for example amaranth or quinoa. You can also grow like basically like go for rice, like for example red rice, black rice, brown rice, okay, like which has high amount of fiber content in it along with vitamins and minerals.
Thank you so much, Upasana. So there are actually a couple more questions about oats, right? So they're asking, is it okay to have ready-to-eat oats? Something like instant oats or rolled oats. And
Okay.
so maybe you can maybe give them a little gist about, what is the best kind of oats to take in, some things to keep in mind while, choosing oats, because I think that is one of the common breakfasts which people might have here.
Yes. Absolutely. The thing is like, yes, you can include oats, okay? But the thing is, it's very important that how you are eating it and how you are like making the oats, right? So the ones, I mean, like the like basically the like the ready to eat, I mean like basically the ready to eat, like masala oats that are available in the market, which has all the I mean like dried vegetables and the spices and sugar and sodium added to it. Those are absolutely not at all I mean like healthy for you. But yes, if you are buying like normal plain oats from the market, and then you are making chilas out of it, or like porridges out of it, or you are making I mean like like anything like masala oats, or like you can add the oats with like eggs and like vegetables and can make different kind of recipes, then it's absolutely healthy. Also, I would just like to mention one thing, that whenever you are having a breakfast, and the thing is like this is not specific to a person who has diabetes, but this is like to stay healthy, like if you do have any kind of like metabolic disorder or lifestyle disorder or not, it's always better to have your breakfast which has less amount of carb content in it and more amount of good fats and protein content in it, right? So always just try to include the oats in a larger amount if you like, or if you like want to, in the lunch section or in the like evening section, but not like at the start of your meal. Like that is the breakfast.
Got it, Upasana. Thank you so much for that. So there's another question. I think we already did speak about this, but Madhav sir is also asking, can you tell me the sequence of eating foods? I think this is regarding meal sequence. If you could just,
Yeah,
touch upon that again.
absolutely. So the thing is, like, what is meal sequencing? Like meal sequencing is basically, like meal sequencing is like a pattern in which we eat our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's always important to start your meal with something like which is rich in fiber. We all know that vegetables does have a higher amount of fiber content in it. So always start your meal with a bowl of salad or a bowl of vegetable soup, or the normal cooked, like vegetables that is being made at home. You have that one katori. Then you have the protein sources, for example, dal or chicken or fish or egg. Okay, along with the grain that you are taking, either rice or roti, okay, or like chapati or like paratha in low oil, like whatever you are taking. So this sequencing is very, very important. Start your meal with something which is fiber rich, that is the vegetables, and then you have your protein and the combination of the grains.
Yeah, thank you so much, Upasana. So there are a couple more questions. I'll just quickly read them out as well, right? Okay, so the next question is, what are some healthy protein sources which I should include in my grocery list that will help, in reducing and, managing sugars?
Sure. So this also depends upon your food habit, that whether you are, like a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. But I would just list out the healthy protein sources, like which can be included in a vegetarian diet pattern or, like a non-vegetarian diet pattern. So the healthy, like protein sources are sprouts, like which you can easily make it at home from the pulses and legumes. Like pulses and legumes itself, they have like protein in it, so you can include them. You can also include soybean as well. You can include chicken, the lean meat like chicken, fish, egg whites as well. You can also include nuts and seeds as well as a protein source, and you can always keep this in a handy manner. And the last is like either curd or like Greek yogurt, or you can also make like homemade paneer, like from the double toned milk, and can have it. And the thing is, like one of the thing is, like when we do like generally make paneer at home, right, or like chena at home, we like generally do tend to throw away the whey water. Trust me, whey water is one of the most important source of protein which we can easily consume on a day-to-day basis. So do not throw away the whey water. You can, like actually add it in your dal or in your sabzi or in your soup, or you can just add some lemon and some like black pepper in it, and can just make like like a drink kind of a thing, and can have it. But do not throw away the whey water. You can also use it to knead your doughs to make the roti. It's extremely rich in protein. So make sure that you are always keeping these protein sources in your home, in your kitchen. Then like on a day-to-day basis, you will be having, like the required amount of protein, which is like very, very like essential for your body function.
Got it. So the next question of Pasna, so they're asking, so they have constant cravings, and they tend to usually take some snacks in between meals. So what are some healthy snacks which which they can take?
Okay, so for the healthy snacks, you can actually go for any kind of sprouts chart or legumes chart. You can also go for, like makhana chaat as well. You can also take 2 egg whites and can add some like tomatoes, onion, capsicum, and can just make a saute if you are at home, have time, and can do that. Like if you can cook, or like if you do have like a oven or like a microwave at your place, you can just make like homemade ripe banana chips and can have that as well as a snack with some chopped like tomatoes and onions in it. I can add some like lemon juice and can make a chaat. You can also have some nuts and like seeds along with the like seasonal fruit as well. Or else you can like also take like a small katuri of like Greek yogurt. You can add some nuts, seeds, raisins, dates if you are not diabetic. And if you are diabetic, you can just add some nuts and seeds and can have that Greek yogurt as a snack as well.
Got it. Thank you, Pasna. So Shaheen ma'am is asking, what about Oats Chila? Can we, make a Chila out of oats and have it? Would that be
Yes,
beneficial?
yes, definitely you can have oats chila as well, but just make sure that whenever you are having oats chila, do not make the chila batter only with the oats and spices, because oats doesn't have a lot of protein in it. And so it's always important to like add a protein source in each and every food item. I mean, like whenever you are eating it, so just make sure if you are like making I mean like oats chila, you can just grind the oat, either add to like egg whites with some chopped like vegetables in it and can make the chila. Or you can also add some besan or chana flour or like soybean flour like along with the oats and can make the chila and can have it.
Okay, got it. So there's another question about flours, right? So they're asking wheat flour, ragi flour, jowar flour. So what is the best thing that you can take? Is there like a, flour, which one is the best, or what are the benefits? If you
All
could just
of
touch
them are
upon
good.
that.
Absolutely, like all of them are good. Then again, it depends on like person to person. Like for example, if I mean like it might happen that like the like after like consuming jowar atta roti, like person A doesn't have I mean like is not getting like a high glucose spike, but a person B after having the jowar flour roti might I mean like get a high glucose spike. So it absolutely depends upon how your body is reacting after you eat a particular meal or a particular flour. But like overall, if you say all the I mean like foods, I mean like flours, like basically the whole wheat flour or jowar flour or bajra or ragi, they are like millets. They have high fiber in it and they have like minerals in it. So it's extremely beneficial for you. You can have it.
Okay, got it. So Madhav sir is asking, what do you mean by having good fats in the diet?
Okay, so basically, I mean, like by good fats, I generally mean, I mean, like the omega-3 fatty acids, which we generally get from nuts and seeds. So they actually helps to improve the immunity. It actually helps to improve the nervous system as well, like basically the functioning of the nervous system as well. So like you can always include, I mean, like good fats on a day-to-day basis, like from nuts and seeds.
Got it. So Vijay sir is asking, can people with diabetes take coconut water?
Yes, people with diabetes can take coconut water. What you can do is you can always take 1 teaspoon of chia seed, just mix it with the coconut water and can just have it as a like mid-morning snack or an evening snack.
Got it, got it. So there is another question, right? So they're asking about, so when we kind of look for oils, right? So what is the kind of oil we should be taking? And is there like a good kind of oil? Because I've heard that, cold pressed oil is better. So maybe if you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, sure. So the thing is like is I mean like very important. I mean like generally to have the oil which are generally not like highly processed, right? Because the thing is like if you do take oil, I mean like which are like highly processed and their smoke point is also very less, the nutritional value drops down. Like there are many I mean like nutritional compounds which actually get destroyed while they like basically undergo and I mean like like basically they like generally like undergo like several processing I mean like techniques like after like before getting like packaged. So it's very, very important that you can always go for the unrefined oils like coconut oil, or you can go for the unrefined mustard oil, or like you can also can go for like the rice bran oil or the peanut oil that are available in the market, or olive oil as well.
Okay, got it. All right. So this again is a question on fruits, basically, right? So what is the, fruits that I can take with diabetes? Can I take mangoes, bananas? I've heard that people, ask me to reduce it. So how much should I take? What is the fruit that I can take on a daily basis?
Okay, so then again, it depends upon, I mean, like how your glucose level is at present right now. And the thing is, like if you do remember, I had talked about the glycemic index, right? So I would suggest you that you can just search in the Google to know about the different glycemic index rate of the food. And the thing is, like if you do specifically talk about mangoes, so it's always better to take mango as a snack or any kind of fruit as a snack, and not with your major meal, because whenever you eat a particular food, like fruit, the enzymes that are generally being secreted for the digestion, they're very much different than when we do eat a protein source, for example, chicken, eggs, or anything, right? So it's very, very important that like whenever you are taking a like fruit, you should always take it as a snack. The amount again varies on how many calorie intake you are taking, how much exercise you are doing on a daily basis. That is how much calorie output is there, and what is your current sugar level is. And also always remember that fruits are generally called nature's candy because they have fructose in it, and it is a kind of carbohydrate. So whenever you are taking a particular fruit alone, and you're not pairing up with something which is rich in protein and fat along with it, so the absorption will be very quick, and the glucose formation will be very quick, and the release of glucose in your bloodstream will affect in a higher spike of the glucose levels, right? So always whenever you are having a fruit as a snack, always try to pair it up with some almonds or walnuts or mixed nuts and seeds, so that after you consume the food, like the fruit, it actually helps in lesser sugar spike as well and maintain your glucose level.
Got it. So there's another question on Jaggery, basically. So they're asking, is Jaggery good for diabetes?
No, absolutely not. It is not good for diabetes because like Jaggery, like like whenever you eat jaggery, it has like again like carbohydrate in it, right? So after the digestion, it will turn out to be glucose only, and already there is a lot of glucose in your bloodstream right now. So the thing is, like whenever you will be having like any kind of food sources which will actually get easily converted to glucose, it will like basically affect your blood glucose level and spike up your glucose level like from the desired range. So absolutely, it is not good for you right now.
Got it, Upasana. So we have another question by Miss Shailaja. So she's asking, should we buy the cooking oils directly from where the cold pressed oils are prepared? And that's question number one. The second question is, among till oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, etc., which one is the best with less fat or cholesterol?
Okay, so yes, you can buy, like the oils from where the cold pressed oil are generally, like made, absolutely. And there is no such thing that, like we cannot compare like which does have, like a high fat, like oils and fats, right? They, like should be taken in a, like limited quantity on a daily basis. And you can take any oil like till oil or sunflower oil, or like cold pressed like olive oil, or like mustard oil, and can include in a limited amount in your diet to get the maximum benefit out of it. Any food item, like whether it like oil or fats or carbohydrate or protein source, if you are taking it in an excess amount, it is bad for you. If you are taking it in a proper amount, in an amount which will actually suit your daily needs, it like you will get the best benefit out of it.
Got it. Thank you so much, Upasana. So we have a couple more questions. I'll just quickly take them up, right? So, okay, this is again related to, I think, oils and fats and everything, right? So Ramesh sir is asking which is better to have, ghee or oil, and Kiran sir is asking groundnut oil can you take if you have diabetes.
Yes, you can take groundnut oil if you do have diabetes. And then again, like if you do compare like ghee and like oil, can you just like repeat the question once, Shifa? The question
Yes,
about
sure.
ghee and oil.
So one is which is better to have, ghee or oil is the question.
Okay. So you can have both in limited quantity. I mean, like there is no comparison that, like you cannot have ghee or you cannot have oil. So you can have both in a limited quantity, which is required for you on a day-to-day basis, and you will get the benefit out of it. And the thing is like then again, if you have ghee in excess amount and if you think that you will have like the benefit out of it, if you are like basically having like 4 tablespoon or 5 tablespoon ghee in a day and not taking oil, no, it's like a very wrong concept. You can have the minimum amount which is required to like on a day-to-day basis, and you can have both, either ghee or oil.
Got it. So I think there are a few more questions. We'll just take maybe two, three questions before we end, right?
Sure.
So this is they're asking, what about coffee and milk without sugar? Can I have that if I have diabetes?
Okay. So the thing is like this is, like a very common question which I do always get in my day-to-day practice from like all of my patients. So it's like basically milk, it does have carbohydrate in it. Okay, although it has protein source in it, but it also has carbohydrate in it, right? So whenever you are taking coffee with milk and not without sugar, like milk is adding on the carbohydrate there. Okay, and as there is no protein source along with it, so what is happening is that once you do consume the like the coffee with milk, it instantly spikes up your blood glucose level once you drink it, because it is like easily getting transferred to glucose, and then the glucose molecules are easily like easily getting like released in your bloodstream. Okay, so if you are a diabetic, if you are like in a path like where you are like like you have like basically made your mind to like reverse your condition or control the diabetes, like or the like the blood glucose level, I would suggest you can have black coffee, but try not to have like milk coffee or like milk tea, because that will have a negative effect in your glucose level.
Got it. So there's another question which is also in relation to coconuts. Basically, they're asking, can you please advise on coconuts? Can it be consumed if you have diabetes?
Yes, you can have coconuts as well. What you can do is like you can include coconut chutney in your lunch as well. You can have like few slices of coconuts like with some like almonds or like walnuts as a mid morning snack as well. So you can absolutely have coconut, but yes, in a limited quantity.
Got it. So I think we'll just take one last question, right? So
Sure.
this is, they're basically asking, should I eat smaller, more frequent meals, or should I stick to three larger meals in a day?
Okay, so the thing is like then like here you need to understand about that, like basically having like larger meals in a day like will not benefit you, because the thing is like even though you are having a larger meal in a day, and like for example you are like you are not like doing exercises, or like your physical activity is not up to the mark, right? Even though you are taking three larger meals or you are taking snacks in between, it will not benefit you. You will always have to balance it out with your daily physical activity and the number of meals that you are taking. Okay, so for example, if you are eating a 1200 calorie on a daily basis, right? So you can distribute that in an entire day depending upon your routine and your physical activity and the amount of calories that you are burning, and absolutely depends upon your like schedule. The thing is like if you are I'm like comfortable to eat three major meals with two snacks in it, it's fine. If you are like comfortable to eat like seven like small meals in a day, that is also fine. But then again, if you are diabetic, it completely depends upon the blood glucose level that is getting fluctuated on like day-to-day basis. And then if you are non-diabetic and if you want to lose weight, it also depends upon how many calories you are burning. So you can, like, based on that, like, distribute your daily needs.
Got it. Thank you so much, Upasana. So we just have one last question. We'll just take that. So this is by Mr. Ramesh. He's saying that a heart surgeon has suggested to him that ghee is better to cook instead of oil from a heart health point of view. What is, your suggestion in that, or what is your take of?
Okay, so what I would suggest you that like, do not use ghee to cook your meal. Okay, the thing is, it's always better to use cold press oil or like unrefined oil to cook your meals, and you can have ghee in the raw form. Like, because the like, the smoking point of ghee is very less as compared to the cold press oils or the unrefined oils. Like, for example, like mustard oil, or like peanut oil, or like rice bran oil. So it's always better to have ghee, like, without, like heating it with your rice, or like, you can, like, always just add it on top of your dal, just one small teaspoon, but then again, not on a day-to-day basis, to get the benefit out of it.
So, Upasana, there's one last question. I think we'll take that and we'll end the session. They're asking, can I have baked barley or rajma chips as, snacking options, or, if I want to take them?
Okay, so here again, as I said, like, as I discussed just few, like, minutes back, that it's very important to know and to read the ingredient list before you buy these, like, food items which claim themselves to be healthy. Okay, so if you are baking like barley chips or like ragi chips at home, and you know that you are not adding a high amount of like sugar in it, or like oil in it, or you're not like mixing maida along with it, then you can absolutely take it. But the ones which you generally get in the grocery like stores, just go ahead, like, take a packet, just read the ingredient list, that how much like, there is the ragi flour or barley flour in that particular chips, or like how much oil content is there, and then, like, you consume it. If you do ask me, then I would suggest that the ones which are generally available in the market, and like ragi chips or barley chips, they does have maida in it and a very high amount of sugar and oil in it, so it's not at all, like, healthy. But if you can just make it at home on your own in a healthier manner, then absolutely you can take it in a limited quantity as a snack.
Got it. Thank you so much, Upasana. That was the last
Most
question. So
welcome.
I just want to, thank everyone for joining the session and being so patient and asking so many questions. And thank you so much, Upasana. We're so, happy that you could join us today and share your knowledge with all of us. And thank you for, answering such all the questions so patiently. I think everyone found it really, really helpful. And the session was also really amazing. Thank you so much for the, wonderful presentation. I think we covered everything when it comes to grocery shopping, proteins, fats, carbs. I think we covered everything in today's session. So thank you so much, Upasana, for your time.
Like, most welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining.